unify that belt. Anything else with as far as him trying to fight Nate and everything else, that's the bullshit rankings and everything else that the UFC stands for just goes out the window, man. I mean, really, you have rankings for a reason. You have an interim belt for a reason. That's so you can unify the thing. Now, if you mix up the guy's a top 10, not even a top 5. Kevin Lee's got more heart than Nate, and I got more heart in this whole entire division. So, I mean, if they want to put that fight together, I mean, that's great. But, the fans are going to be pissed because, obviously they know that fucking Diaz and Conor is going to make a lot of money. But the real righteous thing to do is to make sure that the belts become unified. That's what really needs to happen.
Right, absolutely. Now, saying that, do you think Conor's time off does the division some good, considering it provides other guys like yourselves, Kevin Lee and Justin Gaethje, the opportunity to step up and make the division your own?
Absolutely not. This has been my division before McNuggets even stepped in this bitch. Even when I was at Paradigm Sports Management, he signed up at 145 pounds, and the agreement was he wasn't going to come up to 155 pounds. But that raises a conflict of interest, and I'm pissed. So that bitch needs to fight me, or he needs to fight the guy that's holding the belt. So regardless, I don't really care. The fight at hand, I'm not even looking at it. Kevin can say that he wants to fight Conor next and all this other bullshit, but I'm really looking after this fight. I'm going to grab a piece of pizza, a beer, and I'm going to enjoy myself because I worked my ass off for this camp, and I'm not really worried about anybody else besides Kevin Lee right now.
All right, fair enough. Kevin, the next couple of questions for you. Obviously, there's a massive opportunity for you. And now, while Tony has gone all 5 rounds before, this will be your first. Tony also showed excellent range control, was dominant in clinches, and dealt with the takedown threats in his last fight. So how do you analyze your next opponent?
I'm going to beat Tony Bell to whistle. I mean, that's what it's about. Tony, he had his, the man already over the hill. He's 33. He's talking about what he's going to do in the next 12 months. I mean, it's going to be whatever. After this fight, they'll really don't know my name. I mean, I said it. People are shocked. People are, confused as to why I'm getting the shot or why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that. I said it months ago, and I'm saying it again. I feel like I'm the real king around this bitch. So, I'm just 25. I'm just getting started. I keep getting better. He keeps getting worse. So it don't matter when you look at our skills and you're gonna see it during the open workouts. You're gonna see I'm gonna blow him out the water with skill.
Keep talking, kid.
It ain't no keep talking. It ain't no keep talking. I'm about to show you. Look. I give you your chance to say what you gonna say, to do your thing.
The only thing you're gonna walk out on is in a fucking gurney, Kevin Lee. You're locked. You fucked yourself, brother. That's what you did. You messed up by talking shit, and you wanted to bring family into it. So, you know what? I'm not a punk-ass Jessa. You're dealing with a real fucking Mexican now.
Yeah, sure. I'm letting you have those words, but they ain't mean shit. Like, you the one that's doing all the talking, so go ahead, keep doing it.
Can't even hear one word you're talking. You need to enunciate.
Also, Kevin, you now have the chance to
folks saying, listen. Bottom line, folks saying I'm talking, but at the end of the day, I done fought 4 times in the last 12 months. I'm taking this fight.
I ran out of ass and Kevin.
Nobody else in this division.
You know what happens? It's like when you lose
and
you go like you lose in the tournament bracket, you have to fight your way back. You got knocked out, and then you have to fight your fucking way back. It's cool, man. Enjoy those fucking wins that you had, man, because it's gonna end.
Yeah, sure. Again, but I'm fighting. I mean, look, when we look at what you actually did, I mean, you fought a bunch of bitches. Let's be real here. You fought a bunch of bitches. RDA was whooping your ass and he bitched out in the second round.
Ava Trujillo was
whooping your ass, he bitched out. Edson Barboza was whooping your ass, he bitched out. Like, you fought a bunch of bitches that you walked down, and I'm telling you right now, it ain't gonna happen. So I mean, we're gonna see what's happening.
You can be my next bitch. You wore the last outfit in the last bitch before, too. All
right, let's do it. You fighting dudes that's already been, you fought RDA, who was already coming up and knocked down. You see, he was off the juice. He wasn't really selling himself like that, and he bitched out.
Oh, speaking of juice, are you off the juice? Are you off the juice?
We're going to see.
Hormone, fucking bumps?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no comment, huh? Fake.
Kevin, just completing the question, you have the chance to cement yourself as the top lightweight in the UFC now.
You said what?
You have the chance to cement yourself as the top lightweight in the UFC. You obviously understood the value in marketing yourself as well. So what are your thoughts on being able to talk to rise up the ranks along with the ability to fight inside the cage?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's been. It's been that way. Like I said, I've been doing my last couple fights, all title fights. When you look at my opponents, They ain't got a lot of fights in the UFC, but these some of the toughest dudes. Like you look around and ask who want to fight the Russian kid, who want to fight Francisco Trinaldo. Nobody want to fight them dudes. I'm going down there. I'm taking the tough fights, and I'm preparing for them like they championship fights anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, like people want to, people keep asking me like, don't ask me shit about McGregor. Like if anything, he can work his way back up to me. As far as I'm concerned, the man has one fight in the division, and it's against Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez is walking around here like a little bitch too. So I really don't give him much respect for that. So if he want to take a tune-up fight, if you want to fight Nate Diaz next, he can go ahead and do what he's gonna do. I mean, make your money, baby. So I'm gonna make mine, and I ain't really worried about it.
All right, understood. One question for Demetrius. Obviously, there were a lot of questions going into UFC 215 about Ray Borg making weight, and the fight was called off for one reason or the other. Now, were there any second thoughts about fighting Borg on the UFC 216 card for you?
No, not at all. I'm happy the UFC got it rescheduled super fast, and I'm just gonna worry about myself. All
right. So one last question for Ray. Ray, you talked about falling ill due to a flu bug in your camp the last time around, and that being compounded due to the weather change in Canada. Now with 216 approaching, what changes have you made to ensure that you'd be 100% healthy going into the fight camp this time around?
I don't know. Maybe just staying healthy. I mean, there's sometimes you just can't. You can't, put off the inevitable. And everyone at my camp was sick. My wife was sick, and I was just banking on not catching it. But it happened. There's not a whole lot you can do. But been taking my proper vitamins, been taking care of myself is the only thing. I mean, but you can't really stop a sickness. So just been kind of just trucking along and doing the same shit.
All right, if I can just add one more thing. You said you're not taking the services of a nutritionist this time around. So how has the entire process been for you for this particular camp as compared to the other times?
How's this camp gone because I'm not working with the nutritionist?
Yes.
Same as, my fights prior. I never had a problem making weight, to begin with. And, I tried to add on a nutritionist to help me out just because I was getting a little bit older. The weight was getting a little bit tougher to cut. But, I just went back to doing the same shit that got me to the show. And, I'm not working with anybody this time around just because, one thing people don't understand is that it wasn't a weight issue. I was just legitimately sick. If it was a weight issue, then when Dana had his doctors come down to check me out, they would have told him it was a weight-cutting issue. But the doctor did not clear me to fight because I was actually sick. So, in this sense, there isn't much of a point for a nutritionist because I didn't come home and blow up 10 pounds and, eat burgers all day. All I did was I came home, rested, made sure I was, eating the right foods to make sure I was feeling better. And, my weight was never a problem to begin with. So, my weight pretty much just stayed the same. And it's not going to be an issue at all. Like, in future fights, whatever, this weekend, next weekend, whatever. So, it's just been the same thing I've done for years and years and years. I never had a nutritionist leading up to the UFC, getting into the UFC. I never had a nutritionist the first few fights. So, it's just doing things my own. I know my body more than any nutritionist ever will. So it's just deciding to do things by myself and how I used to do them.
All right, understood. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time.
Next question comes from Jeffrey Harris, 411 Mania MMA.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. First question for Demetrius Johnson. Would you say Ray Borg still deserves this title shot in light of what happened at UFC 215? And do you think it maybe would have been better for you to wait to maybe fight the winner of Sergio Pettis versus Henry Cejudo?
No, I think he still deserves it. Guys, it's only been 4 weeks, nothing's changed. He got sick, it happens. It's happened multiple times in not just in this division, but other divisions. If I'm successful at defending my belt next week, then, I'll be able to fight the winner of Sergio Pettis and Henry Cejudo, so I see no different.
For Ray, there were a lot of questions coming out of what happened with UFC 215, and you did part ways with the nutritionist you were talking about a lot before the fight with perfecting athletes. So why did you part ways with your old nutritionist if it was not a weight-cutting issue?
I'll go ahead and go on record and say this. The ladies at Perfecting Athletes are awesome ladies. They truly know what they're doing. They made my weight cut in Brazil so easy that I didn't even believe them when they were on fight week, when they were telling me to do certain things. I didn't even believe them that it worked, but it worked, and they did an amazing job. the reason for parting ways with perfecting athletes went, a lot more in depth than what people know, and it's something I really don't wish to discuss, and something you're not going to get me to discuss. So, it has nothing to do with the weight issue. It's a little bit more than that. It's a lot more than that. It had nothing to do with the weight issue. It was more, it was different, and I really not wish to touch base on it right now. Maybe in the future you can pull it out of me, but not right now.
But Ray, are you positive that flyweight is the best place for you, since, you are still just 24 and you have missed weight twice in the past? Are you sure 125 is where you want to stay for right now?
Yeah, it makes sense. In all honesty, I am only 24, and 4 years from now, 5 years from now, I don't know where my body's going to be. I don't know how my body's going to react, so I can't say for the future, but right now, it doesn't make sense, because most fighters, most bantamweights, I don't know, I know a lot of bantamweights that walk around like at 155 or, above. Me not trying to cut weight, just naturally getting in shape, my body just gets down to 136, 137 easy. And that's pretty small for a bantamweight if you ask me. So, yeah, it does make sense for me to stay here right now.
Okay, and next question for Kevin Lee. Both you and Tony are actually, I would say, pretty strong submission specialists. How do you match up with submission skills? And do you expect the fight going to the ground in any type of grappling battles in this fight?
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be the fight gonna take place everywhere, and we got different styles. We just, even though we might even come from the same background, he believe a little bit different philosophy than I do, and I'm gonna show. I think I'm the best grappler in MMA grappler that there is. I think I blend a lot of different styles together. He sticks with that 10 planet kind of weird old style. Like, I don't really, I've played this style a lot. I got a lot of guys that emulate this style real well, and I'm gonna shut it down. So if you want to play that game, we can. It's gonna be everywhere though. It's gonna be from pillar to post. This is the real fight in the lightweight division.
It's gonna be what
show when you look at our skills. Yeah, you want to do a whole lot of talking. Go ahead. The floor is yours, big boy. Go ahead.
And for Tony, what do you think of Kevin Lee in terms of his grappling and his other fighting skills?
He's got good grappling, but not as good as mine. He never did as well as I did in college. He's always been following my footsteps, man. He's always trying to do the same thing.
You crazy as hell, nigga. You 33. Like, where was you at 25? Like, come on. Let's talk there. Hold on.
Because look, he's fake. Motown's fake is fake. Motown fake is the fakest dude I know. Talked his way up to get to a title fight, and he's not going to be able to talk his way out of that fucking cage. Once that door locks.
Okay, talk my way, but I got 11 UFC fights at 25.
Like
so I don't see how where the talk come in at?
That's cute, bro.
Where the talk come in at? You the one that want to talk me. Where the talk? I'm just saying.
I'm going to knock you down with my
25,
jab. I'm going to knock you straight down with my jab. You can get knocked out for some chin. I'm going to test that chin again. Wait till you shoot on me. I'm going to put your ass in Snapdown City and choke your ass out.
You knocked down more than me. What are you talking about? Like, do you watch your own fight? Like, what are you talking about?
Did you see yourself get finished by a jiu-jitsu black belt? By ground?
Sure, we're going to see. You talking about some shit. You talking about some shit from 3 years, like 2-3 years ago. If you think I'm the same man, especially when I was only 22, 23 at the time, if you think I'm the same person, then go ahead, man. You ain't been a big surprise.
You are the same person.
Because
you are the same fighter. You style the exact same way. I've been watching you like. You know what's funny? You've been watching me like a hawk. I got you scared.
Yeah, I've been watching all you motherfuckers, and you've been watching me too.
I haven't been watching anything.
Put my name in your mouth.
I know exactly what you're gonna do. I studied you beforehand, man. I already knew exactly how to beat you when I stepped on foot inside Fox.
I got you, and I've been doing the same for you. I've been studying your game. I've been studying all y'all games, and I know y'all been studying mine. Y'all, the difference between me and you is I'll put your name on, like you won't put my name in your mouth. That's it.
They're trying to make They're trying to make a star off of me. They always try to make stars off of me. But the one thing
you've been watching me since we fought. When we fought on San Diego, when we fought on the same card in San Diego,
your mom
you was watching me.
You're writing checks. Your body can't cash. Your porcelain chin's gonna get tested again. And
look. You knew that we was fighting on August 1st, and you was still trying to call out Khabib even then. You looking for the easier fights even then. But you've been watching me since we fought on the same card in San Diego. Your coach
ain't nobody dodging. Nobody ain't doing nothing. The only thing is
that's what it. Numbers don't lie. That's what you did. You ain't do it. You ain't do it.
I ran out of asses to kick. That's it. I said everybody I was going to finish the whole entire division. I had to settle for a fucking number 7.
Okay. And you were still looking at fight Khabib, which you know is the easier fight. If you don't think that Khabib is the easier fight, then, I mean, come on, man.
The easy fight's Chiesa, bro. Come on. Fight somebody real.
Watch how I do it. All right. What are you talking about? Like, I accepted the fight before I even renegotiated my contract. So I don't know what you're trying to say. That I'm backing away from the fight. I'm the one that looking. I was the one pushing for the fight with you. You doing
talk too much. Just wait till you taste the leather of my jab. You're gonna fucking hit the ground so fucking fast. I'm gonna snag that neck. I'm gonna choke your ass out.
Okay.
And last one for Tony. What do you think about where Khabib Nurmagomedov is right now? And do you think he still needs to prove himself?
That's a piece of tiramisu over in Dagestan. That's what he's doing. He's having 2 for 2 Tuesdays. Wait, today's Thursday. It's 4 for Thursdays. Fucking
well, what I mean is, do you think he needs to prove himself in another fight and that he can make weight without any issues, considering his last 2 issues, you know, the fight that he was scheduled to have with you and the other time he missed weight before in the UFC?
I don't know. I don't really give 2 fucks about that dude. He had his opportunity to fight with me, and you know what? Instead, I had to settle for Kevin Lee. Now, this dude, I mean, respect him. I give him credit for stepping up to the plate, and I said he's got more heart than half of these dudes in the top 5. But with that being said, I'm not Khabib. I will never try to be like Khabib. I'm glad I'm not even trying to even talk about Khabib because this dude's got issues, and he's worrying about me. He's pissed off at the fact that Kevin Lee and myself are going to be fighting for that belt. And he missed out on his opportunity. You can't be messing around like that. A fighter fights.
Thank you, gentlemen, and good luck with your fights.
Next question comes from Kel Dansby with ABC 13, Las Vegas.
Hello, guys. Thanks for taking the time out. First question is for Demetrius. Demetrius, coming into this fight, a lot of people have been saying your names. A lot of people wanted to drop down to fight you from heavier weight classes. Do you feel like you have that bullseye on your back?
Seems like it.
And with that being said, after this fight, are you looking to, welcome someone down to your division, or do you and try to take someone else's belt?
To be honest with you, I'm just worried about this fight, get through this, and then I'll sit down with the higher brass of the UFC and my management, and then we'll see what makes the most sense.
All right, next question for Tony. Tony, looking forward, if you become champion, do you feel like when you become champion, do you buy into the hype of the whole red panty night scenario? We've seen other people wait around for Conor.
No, I don't understand that. I don't like red. I like blue. That's my color. But red panty, green panty don't fucking matter. Wherever they put in front of me, and my first manager told me, he's like, Tony, you make your money by winning, and that's Brock Lesnar's manager. That's Brian Stegman. He tells me, Tony, don't worry about anything else. Everything else is going to fall into place. And I've kept that same attitude. I signed with new management, and I kept the same attitude. I'm not changing anytime soon.
Except when they offer you Michael Johnson. And then you back out, then you run away, then you just take the money and run. Like, I mean, come on. Look, I always say Tony respect.
When they offer Michael Johnson,
I will say
Tony
is
three-quarters.
But,
Kevin,
come on.
I'm
Look,
as
a competitor, as a
one
fan,
thing
you lost
is
to Mike.
that dude was not going to be able to make 170 fucking pounds.
Sure. I don't care. I mean, you throw it.
Fucking pawn. And you know what? I didn't see your ass stepping up. Punk.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was down in Brazil at the time, and I actually tweeted, and I said, fucking find me to Las Vegas right now. I don't know if you remember, because I don't know. I don't know how your memory is working.
All I have to tell you is, look, money didn't make sense, dollars didn't make it right, but I got to fight, and your ass is going to go night-night.
Okay, that's a good little nursery rhyme, but again, as a fighter and as a competitor, I had to take it away from you. You should have stepped up. You should have took that fight with Mike. If it was me and they would have offered Quinter, they would have offered I would
bitch ass you. Mike already knows. I would finish his ass. You ask him straight up, and he'll tell you straight up. I've had conversations with Mike. Look, this is a
woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Boy, you're a kid. I'm gonna send you packing, bro. You're gonna go back.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I know you bring up my age a lot. I know it's a little bit of resentment there because
I think you have such a big chip on your
25.
shoulder. You're about the 25
Like,
of life,
I
man.
that part.
You're everything that's like that, and you talk too fucking much, and I can't wait to hit you and let you hit the fucking pavement, man. Like, straight up, I can't wait to drop you, like, with my jab. And just wait. I've been out there in Big Bear Mountain fucking doing crazy shit that you haven't even no fucking clue. It don't matter who puts in front of me. Your ass is mincemeat, kid.
Okay. I mean, even when we got into it at Fox, I mean, it seemed like you like to do the talking more than me. So I'll let you go.
No talking. You talk so much. You're not even funny. You said about all this mic time. You think mic time's going to save you? Get out of here.
Kevin,
All right.
Next question is for you.
Yeah.
How much do you put into rankings? And we've seen other champions. We've seen recently Cody Garbrandt. You guys both talked about Conor McGregor just taking his first fight and winning a title in the division. Do you feel any pressure, as Tony constantly talks about you being number 7 and you not fighting anyone? Do you feel pressure because of that? Do you embrace that? Does it fuel you going into fights like this?
Yeah, I mean, it don't really matter. Like, I don't see why even other fighters are putting, them rankings, they don't matter. Y'all make the rankings. I don't give a fuck about them rankings. The only thing everybody above this in this division got on me is some years, is some time. That's it. So when you look at the rankings, they don't really matter. You look at some of these dudes that's in the top 25, top 30, they tough enough. They will beat any of the guys in the top 5. So, they got Nate Diaz, who's got 10, 11 losses in top 5. It don't make sense. They got Justin Gaethje, who only got one fight against, apparently beating Mike Johnson in this game is really something because you got Khabib up there at number 1 and the men don't fight. You got Gaethje with one fight up above me. I mean, the rankings don't really mean shit. So you can say I'm number 7. You can say whatever you want to say. Like, I say I'm number 1, and it's going to prove on October 7th.
Last question, and it's for both of you guys. Tony, you can answer it first. Will you guys be watching that Gaethje fight versus Alvarez? And do you guys consider that a number 1 contenders fight for, when you walk out with the belt?
I watch every fight. I study everybody in the division. I'm gonna watch that fight, but again, they gonna beat each other into retirement. They both out there slurring their words already. So, am I really looking forward to that fight? I mean, a little bit, but not really. Eddie's been around here in Las Vegas for a little bit. He's been kind of giving me props. He wanted to shine my shoes the other day. So maybe Eddie will come out on top and I give him a chance. But I got to see more out of Gaethje before I really get excited about it. I like the challenges. Tony Ferguson was a big challenge. Nobody's been able to figure out that style and that rhythm. And the man's got a lot of heart. So I like the big challenges. As far as Eddie and Justin, they're not really big challenges, so I don't know. Maybe after that fight, they'll prove something. Go ahead. You can answer, Tony.
I didn't know they were fighting. I didn't give 2 fucks. The only thing I worry about is UFC.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Next question comes from Rodney James Edgar with MMA Latest News.
Hey, good afternoon, y'all. This is Rodney James for MMA Latest News. First question is for the champ. What's up, Mighty Mouse? How you doing, buddy? There's been a lot of discussion about your promotion. That conversation has come from all angles, from the media, the fans, from you, from UFC. How well do you think the UFC did in promoting your main event at UFC 215?
That's 215's behind us now. I thought they did a good job. I mean, they built that card basically around us. It was a sold-out crowd. And I did all my media obligations, went up to Edmonton, did all that stuff. Now, with us being on UFC 216, they've seen a lot of commercials, and they've been hyping it up. So even though we're not the main event, I feel their engagement in this fight is still good.
Okay, and that answers my next question. I was going to say the same about 216. Thank you, champ. Ray Borg, so we've heard you speak very few times since 215 was canceled. On this call, you've mentioned a few times that you were sick. Can you actually tell us what the diagnosis was? I've never heard that. What was the diagnosis for your illness?
The diagnosis, I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor. He just told me that I had a flu virus, and that was it. I mean, I was throwing up. I was, I had the shakes, I had the shivers, and it wasn't like no weight-cutting type sickness. I just got the flu, and that was it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really diagnose it. I mean, you can call the doctor.
You did. That's what I was looking for. So who was the final decision authority? You said they didn't clear you to fight. The doctors had the final decision authority?
Yeah. You know, we were still cutting weight as I was sick. I mean, we were trying to make it to the fight. It wasn't me saying, "Oh, I'm sick. I don't feel good. You know, I can't fight. Someone please call a doctor." We were cutting weight, and then they got wind that I was sick. The UFC got wind that I was sick, and this goes, like I said, this goes deeper than what you guys need to know. And the UFC doctors got wind that I was sick, so Dana sent his doctor. I can't remember his doctor's name off the top of my head, but he was flown into Canada. He came into the room. He checked me out. He, did his whole doctor examination shit and deemed me unfit to fight. So, it was his call, not mine.
Okay, thank you, Ray. All right, next question is for El Cooley, Tony Ferguson. The initial clash between you and Kevin Lee that took place live on air immediately following Chiesa versus Lee, you showed a little bit of reluctance to fight him. I don't mean because, you were afraid of him or anything like that, but because of his ranking. You said that he was, a little bit too far down the rankings, needed to get some more wins in order to step up to your level. But then shortly after that, this fight was made. So what changed? Because that's a pretty drastic change.
Khabib's bitch ass didn't want to show up, so we had to figure out something. My shelf life is great. I might be 33, but I fucking move quicker than Kevin Lee could ever move. And he was the only one that wanted to sign a dotted line, so now we got to fight.
Okay, good answer. So I see that you've been training up at Big Bear. That's kind of your go-to. What's it been like up there? And what's the weather like? Tell us what it's like training.
It's cold. It's cold. It's dark. I'm running with the bears and the coyotes, and I'm a fucking road runner, man. I've been out there literally climbing thousands and thousands of feet every single day with 50-pound packs, and once I get to the top, I'm doing mitts, and I'm flipping boulders, and I'm carrying this shit. I'm being a Neanderthal, man. I'm a mountain man right now. So all this bougie shit that's going to try to bring me down, I'm putting it to the side, and I just can't wait till next week. I get my hands on this kid.
Okay, thanks. And last question is for the Motown Phenom, Kevin Lee. You stated earlier when we spoke here at the UFC Performance Institute during the media day there that you wanted to fight Khabib. You also said that you don't think McGregor will be willing to fight by December, even though he claims that he will. Dana White also said that. So do you still see Khabib as your next most likely opponent?
I've been wanting to fight Khabib just because he would have been an easy fight. You know, that's the name of the game. The most amount of money for the easiest fight. I've been calling his ass out for, over a year. He's going to keep downplaying me. All these dudes going to keep downplaying me. I mean, that was what the whole thing started with me and Tony. When they try and downplay me, it's like, all right, it's cool, but we'll see in October 7th. So, yeah, I'm going to talk my way into the next fight, too. And the word I'm going to say is yes. When they call me and they want me to fight, I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say yes to the toughest challenges. If that could be, a lot of people think that he's the number one contender for some reason. So I like that challenge. I like to go out there and shut him down, especially if he's still undefeated.
Thanks. And speaking of the UFC Performance Institute, that's a very new facility. And I see that fighters like you and some of your teammates that experienced the tour, like Brad Tavares, have been taking advantage of using that facility. Can you tell us a little bit about that? It looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm here right now. I just got done doing a little bit of, we fine-tuning things. The hard work is already done. So I'm here. I'm walking around. I've been walking around this bitch like I own it. So I've been here. I've been walking around here in my drawers every day. I'm here more than the staff is. So it's amazing. It's open pretty much all day for me. I stay until after the staff leaves. And I'm here all night. So look, it ain't no better place in the world to train. You got everything that you could need. So I'm taking full advantage of it. And I told them when they first opened it that I was.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Our final question comes from Nicholas Peralta with MMAwreckage.com.
How you doing? Thank you guys for taking the call. I appreciate it. Demetrius Johnson, my first question is for you. There was a little bit of controversy following UFC 215. I know you probably are tired of getting these questions about it, but you never actually were able to iterate whether or not you were actually paid your show money for UFC 215. Were you?
I was not. We worked it out. First round management took care of me and sort of the UFC, so they got the fight scheduled within 4 weeks. And typically, in the past, if a fighter, doesn't make weight, like, Donald Cerrone happened to him. I think Tony Ferguson happened to him where he didn't make weight, but even though Tony Ferguson made weight, his fight wasn't being rescheduled so quick. So with this fight only being 4 weeks different, there's like a rule that they have. So to answer your question, no, they fixed we're fighting next Saturday.
And was there a contingency plan for this fight in case Borg or yourself, for whatever reason, were unable to make it to this fight next Saturday? Or if Borg was unable to make weight?
No.
And Ray Borg, question for you. If the worst should happen and you are unable to make weight, what would be the end result for you?
If I show up and I don't make weight, what's the end result?
Yeah, well, for you personally.
For me, I mean, I first of all, I don't see that happening, so it's hard to even imagine what would happen. But I mean, I guess if I'm gonna, play the what if game, I imagine they would make me move up to 35. I mean, but that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna miss weight, so it's hard to really think about what would happen. But if we're playing the what if game, then what if I miss weight? Whatever, then I imagine I'll have to move up to 35.
And what would it mean for you to win the flyweight championship next Saturday, given all the controversy that has surrounded you?
It would obviously feel good, but I mean, it doesn't change just because there's a lot of controversy since UFC 215. Nothing has changed in my mind. My mind is still to go out there and win that belt. There's nothing else that's going to change just because some shit happened between now and then. Doesn't mean I'm going to have a different approach and try to go in there to prove all these Twitter fans and all these haters wrong. I'm going in there for myself. I always fight for myself and for my family, not for the fans. I fight for myself. If the fans like what they see, then great. That's a plus for me. But I'm going out there for me, so nothing has changed between now and then.
Thanks, Borg. And for Kevin Lee, quick question: what was the extent of your relationship with Ferguson during your time at Grand Valley State University?
We ain't really have much of a relationship. I just knew about the guy, and like I said, I always gave him respect even before I, really knew him. And then, he don't want to retaliate it, so I'm gonna get my respect. When I knock him down, when I hurt him, then after the fight, he gonna shake my hand and he gonna give me the respect. So, it wasn't really much of a relationship. I only wrote for a couple of years. I was more so. That's where our styles differ in the first place. I was already fighting as I was wrestling at the same time. I was fighting as an amateur. I was fighting as a pro my sophomore year, and then I stopped after that because I had bigger goals and bigger dreams than just being 24 and being a national champ of a bum ass school like him or whatever you want to say.
All right, my last question is for Ferguson. Ferguson, you haven't been able to fight in about a year based on Khabib not being able to fight earlier this year. Has that at all hindered you, or do you feel like the time off has been any bit of a blessing?
No, absolutely. I had a 10-month camp for this guy. This bitch is in trouble.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Sure.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like to turn the conference back over to Dave Lockett for closing remarks.
I'd like to thank everyone for participating in today's conference call. Just a reminder for next week, UFC 216 Ultimate Media Day will take place next Wednesday, October 4th from noon to 2 p.m. in the Upper Concourse at T-Mobile Arena. UFC 216 Open Workouts will take place next Thursday, October 5th from 12:30 to 3 p.m. at Toshiba Plaza, and UFC 216 Weigh-ins will take place next Friday, October 6th at 5 p.m. at T-Mobile Arena. We look forward to seeing everybody next week. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, Dave. Let me get back to work.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That does conclude today's conference. We thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect.